Well, writer Mandy Catron's landmark article for the New York Times series Modern Love is one of the newspaper's most read essays. The article, To Fall in Love with Anyone, Do This, is about her recreation of an intimacy experience with an acquaintance. She asked him 36 personal questions like, when did you last cry in front of another person? Then she stared into his eyes for 4 minutes. The essay was widely shared, and that acquaintance actually became her boyfriend.
Mandy Catron has published her first book. It's filled with personal essays. How to Fall in Love with Anyone takes a candid look at her own life. She explores the psychology of relationships and the myths we all create about romance. And she argues that love stories limit our idea of what's possible in love. The book is published by Simon & Schuster, which is a division of CBS. And Mandy Catron joins us at the table. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning to you, brave woman, because you laid it all out there, your personal life story.
Oh my gosh, I know.
We'll find out at the end of this interview if you guys are still together with the person that you took. Yes,
okay.
Keep the suspense.
Sounds good.
But I love that you open about talking about your parents' own divorce, who told you and your sister when you were 26 years old that we're getting a divorce. And that sort of shaked you a little bit because it showed you that there are no guarantees in love.
Yeah, I mean, I think for most of my life, I just thought if you're a good person and you don't do anything to betray your spouse in any way, that's really all you need to do to have a long, stable marriage. And when my parents split up, I was shocked, and I kind of thought, wow, maybe a lot of what I think about love is actually wrong.
Wrong, yeah. Because you said most of us think love, marriage, baby carriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there's a script
I
for
thought
how
that too. Yeah, love, marriage,
work.
baby carriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that will make you have a happy life.
And what should we be thinking now?
Well, what I've learned through the book, which is just, I've read a ton of love stories and thought about the role of love stories in our culture. And basically, I think the fact is most stories really narrow the way we can think about love and suggest that there's like one right way to love and that will make you happy. When the reality is that there are lots of ways that love can be a part of our lives.
I was so struck actually by the last line in your actual original article where it says that you say here, falling in love is not the same as staying in love. That, like, falling in love is the easy part, is what you say.
Yeah. Well, because I think so many of our stories are really about like how two people get together, but ultimately, like, we don't talk that much about what it means to stay in a relationship and what that looks like and how that works. And we would really benefit from having more stories about stuff like that.
And a lot of it comes from the movies that you talk about, whether it's, you mentioned Notting Hill, you mentioned Dirty Dancing, and that's that same sort of story that
I love those movies.
I mean, they're great.
Movies, you know?
Yeah.
I believed.
But they sell the falling in love part of it, not the staying in love part of it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And so the staying in love, I mean, part of that comes from, and sustaining the relationship comes from, part of it, the questions that came up in the article. And this is a 20-year-old study that you sort of put in the zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
When this essay came out. Why is it important for folks to talk about these questions?
The thing about the questions is it's not like they're necessarily a shortcut to creating romantic love, but they do sort of statistically significant, lots of studies have shown this, that they do create intimacy and closeness really quickly. And it's a process that I think normally can take weeks or maybe even months, and it accelerates it into like, a couple of hours.
But how do you do that, Mandy? Like, you're at a bar, I'll take the Merlot, and how do you feel about your relationship with your mother? A little awkward, no?
It's a little awkward, yeah. No, I think.
But if he doesn't get along with his mama, Rena, that's a big old red flag.
Question number 24.
It's like waving a red flag,
Number 24.
like, check please. But go ahead.
I think you have to be really transparent about it. Like, I think you have to say, I read about this study. It sounds interesting. Like, would you like to try it? I know a couple people.
I wouldn't do that
said,
first date.
I did.
You did?
Did you
First
really?
date?
Yeah, but I didn't know I was going to do it. It sort of came up. In conversation.
But let's go to the title about how to fall in love with anyone. Number one, I love the title, and I want to know what exactly do you mean by that? How do you do that?
Well, I don't think you can fall in love with just like a random person on the street. But I do think the reality about love is we often think about it as this thing that happens to us, and we're just sort of passively accepting whatever love throws our way. But the truth is we have a lot more agency than that, and that we can really choose to invest ourselves in another person, and that might lead to love.
And you say how you meet somebody also determines the validity of the relationship with your friends and family. If you feel supported by friends and family with how you meet somebody, that betters the chances. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's lots of research that shows that how you meet someone influences how much support you get from the people around you.
Like if I met where?
Like if you meet someone at a bar versus meeting someone at like a community center or a church or something like that. And there's also research that shows the more your friends and family approve of your partner, the longer your relationship is likely to last.
Wow, I get that. And when you fall out of love, people want an explanation. They want to know. It's not enough to know that it just didn't work out. They want to know exactly what happened.
Yeah. One thing I think is really interesting about romantic love is that we're really okay with like not knowing much about how like why two people got together or how they stay together. We want this process to be super mysterious, but when someone breaks up, we want all the details and we want to know why. And one of the things that I discovered once I started thinking about that and my parents' divorce and my own long-term relationship ending was that actually we oversimplify things.
Yeah.
Like it's really complicated.
And short-term relationships can be important and okay too. I thought that was an interesting point you made.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to lead to love, marriage, and baby kids.
That's a whole separate subject.
I'm not talking about one-night stands. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I was talking about that?
No, anywhere from one to whatever. But I'm just saying.
Gayle just wants someone to whisper despacito, despacito to her in her ear every now and then. Is that
the
okay?
point being is that it's a whole different subject, which we will explore not tomorrow with Mandy, but in future articles, I'm sure. Mandy
The guy you took the test with? What's going on?
We're still together.
You're still together.
There you go.
Do you think you're together because of the test, or do you think it opened up other things?
I think doing the questions just sort of opened them. It helped me trust him in a way that I didn't trust other people I had dated. And I think that was a great starting point.
Yeah, and the questions, by the way, are in the book. I love that you did that.
Page 223.
The questions are good. 36 questions.
Mandy and Catron, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
How to Fall in Love with Anyone is on sale now.